materialize. I'm thinking.
All right, back. And it's time for my segment right here. This is the YVK's college football playoff rankings. So I'm gonna just give you a quick rundown how the rankings work this year for the playoffs. They'll be taking pretty much all the top 11 Power Five schools, which is like the ACC, Big 10, Big 12, SEC, those Power Five conference teams, and they'll have one non-Power Five. So I'm giving you the rankings right now. If the season ended today, these would be the playoff teams. Starting at number 12, I got Boise State. If you haven't seen this kid, Ashton Genchi, he's a beast. If these guys keep winning, they will definitely make the playoff. Non-power five school right here. I had some other teams I could have threw in here, but I had to throw Boise State. They look pretty good. Their only loss on the season was to Oregon, which is the number 2 team, I believe now, and they only lost by 3. So if you haven't seen this kid, Ashton Genchi, he's looking like the Heisman winner. I got Boise State coming in at number 12. Number 11, Iowa State. Now, this team here is slowly, they're just under the radar. They've been winning. They're undefeated. They don't have many big wins on the season, but they're undefeated. I got to give them the benefit of the doubt right now. If the season ended today, Iowa State would be in there. Next team, Tennessee. Oh, man, Tennessee. Whew, they had one loss against Arkansas. It was a tough road game. But other than that, they have no blemishes. Last week, they had a tough one against Florida, but they still pulled it out. So I got number Tennessee. I got number 10, Tennessee. You get it? All right. Clemson, number 9. Ever since that Georgia loss, Clemson has been unstoppable, winning every game by 20 plus points, covering every game. What can I say about Clemson? They haven't faced anybody. I know. Pump the brakes. We'll see as the season goes on. Maybe they'll face a Miami in the conference championship game. Yeah, I guess until then, we'll see. Clemson should stay in the top 10. Next, Alabama. How about the Roll Tide? I know they got a loss to Vanderbilt, but it's still Alabama. They also had a tough game last week against South Carolina. Nobody seen that coming. They had a 2-point victory, but they pulled it out. So I got to keep Bama in there at the top 8 SEC dominance. Shout out to Alabama. LSU coming in at number 7. Now, this may be a surprise to some people, but to me, LSU only had one loss to USC, which is not looking so great right now since USC, they just lost to Penn State and Minnesota. So they're looking like a mediocre team. But LSU, they showed some grit last week. They pulled out a tough overtime game against Ole Miss. So I got to have LSU at number 7. Number 6, Ohio State. Ohio State, still a great team. They had a chance last week against Oregon. Will Howard ran out the pocket. I guess he didn't know how much time was left on the clock. They could have got a field goal to tie the game, but instead they go home as losers. Can't fault them for a 3-point loss against Oregon. So, hey, Ohio State still top 16 in the nation. Number 5, how about those Hurricanes? Shout out to the U. I like this team, Miami. I predicted them to be a playoff team this year. So far, so good. They're unblemished. They do have a tough game against Louisville this weekend on the road. Louisville plays great at home, so we'll see. It's a trap game. But even if they somehow slip up that game, I still like this team to get to the ACC championship. All right, number 4, go Dogs. This is my team right here. Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart. What can I say? Only one loss on the season to Alabama. Tough loss there, but it's still Alabama. Georgia has a big game coming up. We'll probably talk about that later against Texas. Nothing much more to be said. This is Georgia. Great team. Let's get to the next one. Number 3, Penn State, undefeated. They just pulled out a tough win against USC. It looked like from the first half of that game, they would lose. But nope, they pulled that one out by 3 in overtime. Shout out to Penn State. They're looking like a great defense, and their offense is getting better and better every week with Drew Aller under the helm. So I like this Penn State team. Next, number 2, the Ducks, man. The Ducks are a great team. Dylan Gabriel, he's finally looking comfortable in this offense. It was rocky and shaky the first 3 weeks, but they just pulled out a big win against Ohio State. So I love this Oregon team. They will definitely make the playoff this year. And number 1, no surprise, this is Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. Everything's better in Texas. College football. This is Texas, man. You can't say anything about this. Quinn Ewers came back off of injury. They showed up last week. That was a tough game against Oklahoma. Michigan. They got some good wins on their schedule. Great resume. Texas, number 1. We'll see this week against Georgia, though, what they do. All right, Jack, how you feel about the rankings I just gave out?
Those are some great rankings this week, Vaughn. I love Boise State coming in at 12, sneaking in out the rear, and they're going to climb probably even a little bit higher. I would say in these next couple of weeks. Texas at 1 only makes sense. Only really does. Wish Archie Manning was starting for them, but there's a reason why they're number 1. They're undefeated. Well, why not? Bama slipping a little bit. What can you say when you lose to Vandy? You're going to slip. LSU slightly ahead of them, so I really don't say anything should be rewarded from what I'm looking at. I personally would have Georgia a little bit higher, but that's just me. Again, they've been in some tighter games and took an L, so I understand that. And no arguments for me this time around.
All right, yeah, man. So, yeah, college football, man. It's a long season. We about halfway through, so these rankings will definitely change.